when we started teaching biomimicry, one of the things that you must have by now learnt about biomimicry is used for solving human problems. And even in the first time when I was speaking about biomimicry many times, I was talking about human problems, looking for problems to solve, right? Now take my students. Now if I tell them, go and use biomimicry to solve a problem, or if I ask you, saying go ahead and use biomimicry to solve a problem, what will you tell me? What will you ask me? You ask me, what is the problem I have to solve? And I won't know what to say. I'll say, but I also have to tell you a problem to solve, right? So I can't just say teach you biomimicry without telling you. So it's like saying, please come to my house tomorrow. 10 of you come to my house and you help me generate ideas. You say, okay, all of you come to my house. And I say, okay, now generate ideas. Give me solutions. You say, what? Give you solutions. What will you say? Yeah, we will give you solutions, but about what? So therefore, you will notice that all solutions require a problem to be solved. You can't have a solution without a problem being solved. So therefore, if biomimicry provides you solutions from nature, then what is the problem that you have to solve? Absolutely logical, right? And that's something that most of us forget most of the time, all the time, that for creativity, for solutions, you need a problem. And I tell you what, one of the most difficult things in the world is looking for a problem. Looking for a problem. I used to work with a company, and we decided that we will use creativity. And so we called all the top leaders and we said, okay, from tomorrow, from next month, we are going to be doing lot of solutioning, lot of creative solutions. They all said, okay. And we said, next meeting, you come to us and you say, what are the 3 problems you have that we need to solve together? You won't believe, they struggled a lot. They struggled to find out what the problem is. So what the human nature is, if I give you a problem, you readily come to a solution. But if I say, give me a problem to solve, which is important for creativity, you won't know what to do. Same situation you will be in, right? You have learnt some of biomimicry. You have learned that biomimicry, the solutions come from nature. You have learned that in order to, that you can pick up the solutions and solve problems. Now you want to apply biomimicry. Therefore what do you need? You know how to, okay, fine, Shiva is going to teach me how to apply, how to get the solutions. But now you are saying, I'm telling you, I need a problem. What's the problem you want to solve? Tough, right? Okay, not so tough, because I'm going to introduce you to 17 problems. What? 17 problems? Yes. I'm going to introduce you to 17 problems that are world problems. I'm sorry, what? World problems? Yes. 17 problems that every nation in the world faces. And I'm going to ask you to choose one. You would have already noticed it, right? In all the presentations, you would have noticed that people are presenting some problems and they are saying this is how we solved it, which is what you're going to learn now. You are now going to learn about the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. We will explain to you in a very basic way, and then of course it's your job to go and read it in a deeper sort of way. But right now, in front of you, what do you have? You have 17 problems to solve. 17. Don't worry, you don't have to solve all the problems. You just have to solve one in this program. So what you see in front of you are 17 problems over the next 10 years that must be solved by every country in the world. Because these are common problems to all the nations in the world. Some beautiful problems, very beautiful, very, 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 emotional problems. Every one of them very well thought out by a body of people who say These are the problems we need to solve. When we first started teaching biomimicry, we were happy that we stumbled upon this. This is probably the only program that connects the UNSDG to biomimicry. And for us, it's a proud moment. The four of us who are teaching this program, it was a very proud moment that we were able to look at the UNSDG and be able to say, now we can connect the two, because you see, now the students don't have a problem. None of you have a problem, because each of you can choose one of these goals, one of these challenges, and look at these challenges and solve it. So my task now is very simple. For the next maybe 10-15 minutes, I'm only simply going to inspire you to take up one of the goals. Which means what? Which means I have to tell you something about the goals, right? I have attended some programs on the UNSDGs. Extremely difficult to sit through them. I'm not going to punish you like that. I'm going to make it very simple for you to go through the goal. But please bear with me. You must have some understanding of the goals before you actually choose a goal. So your task is to understand the basics of the goals as to why they are there, what they are about, how they are constructed, how they are designed, and then use one goal. Just take one goal for this program. Use one goal for this program, pick up one goal, and you use biomimicry, look at the process of biomimicry to solve that problem. So let's assume you choose good health and well-being. So you have chosen good health and well-being. When you choose good health and well-being, you will pick up the problem of good health and well-being, and you will use the process of biomimicry. You look at the lessons of biomimicry, you look at the lessons of nature to solve the problem of good health and well-being. That's it. But unless I tell you how to read the goals, right, how to go deep into the goals and look at the goals, how will you be able to understand the goals? So just bear with me, please, and just listen to what I'm saying, take notes. We'll also take you through the UNSDG website in a very detailed way so that you're able to understand this much better. Okay, so just look at these goals for a minute. There are 17 goals. No poverty, beautifully drawn, right? Beautifully drawn. Many of you can use it in your WhatsApp photograph. So, no poverty, zero hunger, good health and well-being. I hope you're starting to say, what am I connected to? What resonates with me? What is it I'm starting to say I want to solve? Which goal do I want to put on my CV? To say I'm solving this problem. Which goal do I want to tell everyone I'm solving? That is what is called the emotional connect. What is the goal that you think you can solve, that you can work day and night, sacrificing everything just to solve that problem? Can you imagine who you can become if you can pick up one goal and dedicate your life to that goal? You know, I've always believed every one of us is capable of winning the Nobel Prize. Every one of us. Every one of us. You just have to want to win it, that's all. Creativity is about willingness. What do I want to do? I want to be creative. I want to solve the problem. Okay, so no poverty, zero hunger, good health and well-being. Such an important problem, no? Look at what happened during the pandemic. So important to understand that goal. Quality education, again, huge problem. Look at the disparity. It would be nice if everyone is educated in an equal sort of way, right? So beautifully it will be. And all these goals help to make the world so much better. Gender equality. One of the more popular ones at IIT Madras. Gender equality. Clean water and sanitation, again very important. Affordable and clean energy. Of course, this is one very popular goal. There are companies being built around it. Decent work and economic growth. Industry, innovation and infrastructure. You don't have to know all the goals by heart. You just have to find out which goal you like, which goal you want to work with, and then go deep into the goal. So, we are not going to memorize you. We are not going to ask you to memorize the goals. That's silly. I'm just reading it so that you start to get familiar with the pictures, the color. You know, the next time you see a how much? 6 plus 6, 12 plus 5 plus, oh, that's the goal, right? Suppose I take off all the print from here. Oh, that's the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. It should become part of your speech. What are you doing? One of the things I'm doing is to solve the UNSDG. How does it sound? How does it sound? Sounds nice, right? At the end of this program, you go and tell your neighbor, hello, yeah, I'm going to solve one of the world problems. How does it sound? So, reduced inequalities, sustainable cities and communities, responsible consumption and production. When we were teaching the schools, right, I told, maybe I didn't tell you, but I will, our experience with teaching children biomimicry, this was the goal all the children were able to relate to. Because even today, such a shame, I had lunch, and I'm sorry to say I couldn't finish the rice on that plate. I just couldn't finish. How much can I eat? How much can I eat? So I had to throw away half the rice. I'm so ashamed to say that, but and so tragic, okay, right in front of where you have to throw the food, there is this counter that constantly measures the waste. So supposing when you go there, it's 5 kilos, and then once you put the food in that bin, it says 5.2, then you know that because you have contributed 200 extra grams to that weight. Makes you feel bad. So responsible consumption and production, climate action, life below water. Wow, beautiful, no? Do we even bother about life below water? All we know is life above water. There's such a completely different world out there, right? Life on land, which all of us are familiar with, peace, justice, and strong institutions, and partnership for the goals. Partnership is a beautiful word, right? Immediately evokes positivity, partnership. Why are two people partners? What is the meaning of partnership in entrepreneurship? When two people get together because both of them are strong in something or the other. So even if I am weak in accounts, but I am good in selling, and you are good in accounts and not so great in selling, the two of us become partners. I sell, you do the accounts. So partnership for the goals. How do we partner with all the nations to achieve these goals? I don't know who thought of that. Normally, if I was doing this, I would have stopped at 16. And I love that because when I did my project, I used that as the problem I wanted to solve. How does nature make partnership happen? That's the question I asked. All right, so now you have a fair idea as to what the goals are. This is common to all of the world. Very well thought out goals. Each goal is a deep study. Right now we are saying there are 17 goals. And now you can start to choose and all that. Before you start choosing, let's see a little more about the goals. Just a little more. Not too much, right? Don't run away from this, please. Okay, now that you have learned what the general UNSDGs are, let's look at the structures, right? It's always nice to learn little deep about the structure. And so let me use the pen. So there are 17 goals, that's clear. Universal, all over the world. Integrated, we'll see how. And transformative, I'm sure many of you are already, see, achieving, what is the meaning of transformative? When you achieve these goals, it transforms the world. Imagine the world where quality education for everyone. Imagine a world without hunger. Imagine a world without poverty. Transformative. Targets, so therefore every goal has a target and an indicator. What is the meaning of target? Target means what is the outcomes to be attained. It's not so difficult to understand, right? Outcomes to be attained or means to implement the target. Outcomes or means. There are about 8 to 12 targets for each goal. Makes it easy for you now. You just have to pick up a target and make it and solve that problem. Let's see how. There are totally 169 targets. Indicators are, so just when you have a problem and you are given a target, you should know how to achieve it, right? What is the measure to achieve each target? How do you know that you are achieving it? Measure. You start with 0, oh, I have achieved so much, I have achieved so much. Measure to achieve. And there are 1 to 4 indicators per target, totally 232 indicators. Just numbers, that's all. Just to tell you how it is structured. For instance, take gender equality. Let's assume you take gender equality as a goal that you want to challenge, that you want to achieve. What is gender equality? The goal is defined here. Achieve gender equality and empower all women and girls. This is the large goal. Achieve gender equality and empower all women and girls. What are targets? There are 2 targets. One is, here in this case there are 2 targets. 5.1, end all forms of discrimination against all women and girls everywhere. Huge target. Huge target. Enhance the use of enabling technology, in particular information and communication technology, to promote the empowerment of women. Target. What are the means? Means is whether or not legal framework. So therefore, for 5.1, the measures are, the indicators are whether or not legal frameworks are in place to promote, and so therefore you want to achieve the target of there should be no discrimination. How will you measure it? Suppose you go and say, I know there is no discrimination against women. I have achieved it. What is the measure? What is the measure that you have? Then if you say, I have established legal frameworks to promote, enforce and monitor equality and non-discrimination, then we will say, yeah, very good, excellent. So, target, indicator. Similarly, target for enhance the use of enabling technology, proportion of individuals who own a mobile telephone. So therefore, when you want women to use technology, when you say that is the target I have to achieve, then the question is, what is the measure? The measure is number of individuals who own a mobile phone by sex. So therefore, before I started looking at this goal, I had only 2 girls were owning a mobile phone out of 10. Because I worked to enable the use of, enhance the use of enabling technology, I now have enabled, because of the technology I have brought in, because of my innovation, I have been able to get about 7 girls out of 10 to use mobile phones. Now, I just want to point out one thing here, right? Now, there are 2 types of targets. You will notice, right? It says 5.1 and it says 5.B. What does it mean? So, when you say 5.1, it is the outcomes, the targets that are outcomes. When it says 5.B, it is the means to implement the target. So, both of them are under targets. One target means what is the outcome, what do I need to achieve, what is the outcome to be attained, or the second is means to attain. So, therefore, end all forms of discrimination against all women and girls everywhere is one outcome target. Enhance the use of enabling technology, in particular information and communication technology, to promote the empowerment of women. Enable, okay, simply short, it means enhance the use of enabling technology. The minute I say that, it is a means to achieve, right? So, means to implement or outcome to be attained. Now, outcome to be attained, there is a measure for it. So, when you say 5.1, it's outcome. 5.1.1 is measure for that outcome. So, here it is whether or not legal frameworks are in place. That's the measure for the outcome of end all forms of discrimination. For the means of enhance the use of enabled technology, the measure is proportion of individuals by sex who own a mobile phone. So simple, right? So 5.1, when it is 5.1, it is outcome to be attained. When it is 5.B, it is means to implement. When it is 5.1.1, it is measure for the outcome. When it's 5.B.1, it is measure for the means. Clear? Absolutely. But you don't have to really, this is just to familiarize yourself. The real challenge is, what is the goal you want to choose? Once you have chosen the goal, when we take you through the website, you will be able to negotiate the website and read a lot about the goals. The more and more you read about the goals, the more and more information you have about the goals, you will be able to find out what is the problem you want to solve. Sustainable development, UNSDG dimensions are sustainable development. Just to read through. So what is happening is, the more important thing is the second paragraph. Why don't we do one thing? Let's just look at sustainable development. Don't get bored. Just look at development that meets the need of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. So therefore, when you do something now, you meet the needs of the present people, but you don't do anything to harm the ability of future generation to meet their own. So supposing you say that if I put the fertilizer in the land, I will have some great crop over the next 100 years or the next 50 years. The crop will be so nutritious, that particular fertilizer. But when you put that particular fertilizer, you will have great fun for 50 years. At the end of 50 years, all the land in the world will go dry. Which means for generations that start to live their life after 50 years, there will be nothing to eat. Is that okay? No. So you take care of your needs, but you ensure that the future is also taken care of, is sustainable development. So beautiful, no? So beautiful. So altruistic, at the same time caring for oneself. Everything is contained in that. That word sustainable development should be some byword for you from now on. You should be using it more often, understanding it. So here, the goals, what do? Look at what they have done. They have harmonized three core elements. What are the three core elements? Economic growth. All of us need to grow economically. We all want money. Social inclusion. We always feel bad, right? We always feel bad when we're excluded, no? There's the exclusion everywhere. And all of us are trying to overcome that, right? We all want to be included. We don't want to exclude. We don't want to be excluded. So why should we exclude anyone? And environmental protection. Actually, to be honest, when I was in college, there was this word environment protection did not even occur anywhere. We didn't even learn too much, only now, because of the damage that is being caused. So every time we learn something new, it is because of the context. It is because what is happening in the world now. You can't not learn how to protect the environment. So all the goals are encompassing all the three core elements: the economic element, the social element, and the environmental element. And look at this last line: build a inclusive, sustainable and resilient future. Resilient means coming back, bouncing back. What is resilience? Resilience is someone who fails is able to get up and start all over again. You say, he is very resilient. So resilient future for the people, a resilient future is a future that can bounce back from the present, bounce back from a problem. So that's the goals. Can you're beautifully drafted, right? I'm sure even if you started saying, oh no, what am I doing, reading the goals, suddenly you're waking up, you're saying, this is part of my life, this is my world, my earth. So why should you not be interested in this? And this is something that has been constructed by someone and handed over to you. All you've got to do is pick up a problem and use biomimicry to solve that problem. All right, look at how the goals are arranged, right? So it's called the nested model of sustainability. Nested model. Nested model means, what is the meaning of nested? nested means one inside the other. You may have seen these dolls, right? One doll inside the other. Nested model of sustainability. So, there are three sections we notice, right? Economy, society and biosphere. So, this economy, it's divided, so the nested models are, the three are the economy, society, biosphere. Economy is at the service of society, at the service of society. And society, the goals for the society are within the boundaries defined by the biosphere. Don't worry about it. Let's look at it once again. So the three circles that you saw in the last slide, right? The three circles: economic growth, social inclusion, and environmental protection. So, economy at the service of society and society within the boundaries of the biosphere, right? So, for economy, so totally how many goals? 17 goals. Leave the last one out. Partnership for the goals, leave it. So, there are 16. For economy, there are 4 goals. We just, you know what we are doing, right? Now it's very clear to you what we are doing. We're simply taking up each goal. We started with 17, then we said what are the goals about, why the goals at all, and then we said there are 3 aspects to the goals: economy, society and biosphere. And now we are taking up each of those things and looking at how many goals for each of them. That's all. So how many goals for economy? There are 4 goals for economy. That's all. So you can read it at leisure. I'm not going to read it. So the 4 goals for economy are: goal number 8. Goal number 8 is decent work. Goal number 10, reduced. See, now it makes sense, right? Or both decent work and reduced inequality go towards economy, are linked to economy. Industry infrastructure naturally linked to economy. Responsible consumption and production linked to economy. So economy, there are 4 goals in the economy section, if you want to know, if you want to call it. And then what will be the next one? What will be the next one? Naturally, society. Society, there are 8 goals. 8 goals in the realm of society, connected to society. 8 goals. Brilliant, right? Naturally, when you say, even if it was not there, I'll say, okay, end poverty. What will it affect? What is it about? You'll say society. Zero hunger. What is it about? Society. Goal number 1, goal number 2. Goal number 3, good health and well-being. What is it about? Society. For society. Number 4, quality education. What is it about? Society. Right? And number 5, gender equality. Naturally, society. Number 7, affordable and clean energy. Economy, society, economy, society. If you look at the definition, definitely society. Ensure access to affordable, reliable, sustainable and modern energy for all. I think the clincher is all. All. Make cities and human settlements naturally society. Promote peaceful and inclusive societies for sustainable development. Provide access to justice and all. Naturally for society. Justice for all. Right? So what is next now? We finished 8 plus 4, 12. 4 are left. 4 are biosphere. Connected to biosphere. I'm sure, okay, guess, biosphere. Naturally life underwater. Also. So therefore, 6, clean water and sanitation, ensure availability and sustainable management of water. Biosphere. Climate action, goal number 13, all of us, very, very popular goal, the whole world is working for it. But I like the words, okay, take urgent action. So go ahead and see to it that all the wasteful electricity in your house is switched off. Start by taking action individually. Right? The change, you must be the person who changes first. Who said that? Mahatma Gandhi. Life on land, protect, restore and promote sustainable use of terrestrial ecosystem, life on land that we are all used to. And my favorite, not because everything else is bad, but because life underwater is something that when I read this, I said, wow, I have not even thought about it. Life below water is a biosphere connected goal. That's all. So 4 economy, 8 society, 4 biosphere. And finally, partnership for the goals. Strengthen the means of implement. I had great fun using biomimicry, finding out what are the solutions that biomimicry has to offer for partnership for the goals. It was a personal project, unbelievable. The amount of solutions I got. I never thought that nature would give me solutions for solving partnership for the goals. When I present my personal project to you, you will understand. So that's the UNSDG, 17 goals, nested model, right? Economy, society, biosphere, 4 goals, economy, 8 goals, biosphere, 8 goals, society, 4 goals, biosphere. I hope you corrected me. I hope you corrected me when I made a mistake. That shows that you are on your feet. If you didn't, then that means you are not on your feet. So get on your feet now. You have big tasks to do. You have a huge task in front of you. Imagine you are now on your shoulder, on your strong shoulders. On your strong shoulders rests the weight of the world. Such a beautiful thing to have. What a great purpose in life. To be able to say, I individually can work towards one goal. And I have a friend of mine right in front, nature, my teacher, who will teach me how to find a solution for that challenge, for that goal. How can this subject be anything other than interesting? Any other adjective you use, you cannot. Right? So, what you have learned is United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Why did you learn them? Because you need a problem to solve. That's how we started, right? You need a problem to solve. You will now choose a problem. You will now choose one of the problems and you will learn how to do biomimicry. Have the problem in front of you. Actually, you know what you should do? Once you choose the problem, write down the problem in big bold letters and stick it on your wall. So you see it every day and read more about it. The more and more you talk to people about it. Whenever you read the newspaper, you look for that problem. Does it exist in the newspaper today? Is there anything in the newspaper that talks about life underwater? Then you will find that a particular fish is disappearing. You say, oh, that's the goal I want to solve. Right? They're talking about my goal. My goal is life underwater. What is it? And you'll read it more. And suddenly they'll say that a coral reef is disappearing. You'll say, wait. That is my subject. Life underwater. And that's how you start getting interested. And if the average age of this class is around 21, 22, and if all our lifetimes, expected lifetimes 80, you have 60 years to solve the goal. You don't have, but you have. And you can be proud. Right? I've asked all my students to put the goal on their CV. So when the person who is employing you looks at you, he says, oh great, this person is solving a world problem. Alright?